Welcome. This is the nuclei part 6. Today we are going to study about significance of specific binding energy curve. Right. So yesterday we have discussed the specific binding energy curve. Due to that curve, what is the significance? What we get the information? Specific binding energy curve gives the information of stability of the atom. How much stability is there for a nucleus of an atom, right? So here, for example, I am considering specific binding energy of helium nucleus, specific binding energy of lithium, specific binding energy of iron. When we compare the specific binding energy of all these nucleuses, we come to know among these which one is stable. Okay. Now, the value of specific binding energy of helium nucleus is that we know that is of about 7.075 million electron volt. Correct? Next, lithium atom, that also I have discussed. We got of around 5.413 million electron volt. And from the graph, we got that the specific binding energy of iron is of about 8.75 million electron volt. So by observing these specific binding energy of these three nucleus, among this lithium is a less stable compared to iron and helium. When we compare iron and helium, helium is less stable and the most stable is 8.75. That is, iron is the most stable. That's why the significance of specific binding energy curve gives the stability of the nucleus. Okay. Next, second significance is specific binding energy of light nucleus. That is, light nucleus means whose mass number is less or number of nucleons are less. That is called light nucleus. Whose mass number is less than 30, the specific binding energy is low. Due to this low specific binding energy, these light nuclei are used in fusion. They are used in fusion. Similarly, third point, the specific binding energy curve of heavy nucleus, that is mass number greater than 170, they are called heavy nucleus because they consist of number of neutrons and protons are very high. That's why it's called heavy mass, heavy nucleus, right? So greater than mass number greater than 170 is a very heavy nucleus. For that also specific binding energy is less, that we have studied in the graph, right? Hence these are used in fission. See, the heavy nucleus are used in fission, the light nucleus are used in fusion, right? This is the significance of specific binding energy curve. Now we will move towards next concept, that is nuclear fission. Here fission means dividing. Dividing is what? Nothing but fission. Divide, splits, right? So here, what is nuclear fission? A heavy nucleus splits into two small nuclei of comparable masses, right? That is called nuclear fission. During this nuclear fission, a large amount of or enormous amount of energy will be released, right? So here, according to the definition, the process of splitting of heavy nucleus into two small nuclei of comparable masses. During this fission or during nuclear fission, large amount of energy releases. How much amount of energy releases? We'll see now. See, for example, this is a heavy nucleus. This heavy nucleus splits into two small nuclei plus releasing a large amount of energy. To understand this nuclear fission, let us consider an example. Here I am considering the radioactive element is nothing but the uranium 235, right? So this uranium 235 92 is bombarded with a neutron. Bombarded with a neutron. That neutron is considered to be a slow neutron. Which kind of neutron? That is slow neutron. Why we have to consider slow neutron only? I will tell you that. So when uranium 235 bombarded with a slow neutron, First it absorbs that neutron and it becomes a compound of a nucleus uranium-236. Compound of nucleus uranium-236, and it becomes within a small interval of time, say about 10 raised to minus 8 seconds, the fission, that is nothing but a separating, splitting starts, and it starts and forms the fragments of beryllium and krypton. Beryllium mass number is 141 and atomic number 56, plus krypton mass number 92, atomic number 36, plus along with that 3 neutrons will be divided or given out during this process, and along with 3 neutrons it releases a large amount of energy of 200 million electron volt. I will revise. See here, uranium-235 bombarded with a slow moving neutron and it forms a compound of nucleus uranium-236, and within a small interval of time 10 raised to minus 8 seconds it splits its nucleus into beryllium and krypton and plus 3 neutron. Add all the mass number of these, which is equal to uranium-236 or which is equal to uranium-235 plus 1 neutron. See here, 141 plus 92 is approximately 235 plus 3. See, 141, 92 plus 3 neutrons, which is of given how much? 236. 56 plus 36, which gives you 92. So that it is a balanced, right? So this whatever uranium splits, it's divided into 2 small nuclei of comparable masses, right? And along with that, it is releasing the large amount of energy, say about 200 million electron volt. Not every time it must releases the beryllium krypton only. It releases or it splits some other fragments also, other pair of fragments also. For example, uranium-232-92, uranium-235-92 is bombarded with a slow neutron or thermal neutron. Slow neutron is also called as thermal neutron, which is forming the compound of uranium-236, and again within a small interval of time it may give you the fragments, that is, this is antimony, and this is niobium. Antimony 13351, niobium 9941 plus 4 neutrons, right? When 4 neutrons will come? When uranium-236 splits into antimony and niobium, at that time 4 neutrons come plus 200 million electron volt energy releases, right? So similarly, if suppose the same uranium-235 bombarded with a slow moving neutron, it forms a compound of uranium-236 nucleus, and within small interval of time it gives this time xenon and strontium. Xenon 140 54, strontium 9438 plus 2 neutrons plus 200 million electron volt energy, right? So this is nuclear fission, right? Yes, in the nuclear reaction, nuclear fission, I said that a slow neutron, right? Uranium-235 is bombarded with a slow neutron, correct? What is that slow neutron, right? Slow neutron, or it is also called as thermal neutron. Here the slow neutrons are those neutrons whose kinetic energy is less than 1 million electron volt. If a neutron is moving with less than 1 million electron volt, that is said to be a slow neutron or a thermal neutron. Why we use slow neutron only, I'll tell you that, right? Fast neutrons. What are fast neutrons? If the neutrons are having a kinetic energy of greater than 1 million electron volt, that is called fast neutrons. Then there is something important things are there regarding the neutrons, right? So we will discuss about important facts about neutrons. Actually, neutrons are electrically neutral, hence they do not experience any Coulombic force. To experience a Coulombic force, we need a charge. Either the charge will be positive or negative, but neutrons are electrically neutral, hence they do not experience any Coulombic force. That is the first fact. Second fact, the neutrons interacts very weakly with the electrons in an atom. See, in an atom, central part called nucleus, when in the nucleus protons and neutrons present, outside the nucleus electrons present, where protons and electrons exhibiting a electrostatic force such that the electrons is revolving around the nucleus, but in the nucleus along with the protons, neutrons also are there, which are very weakly interacting with the electrons. That is a fact about neutrons. Third fact, a slow neutron can wander through a material and cause nuclear reaction. This is the one of the reason why we are considering the slow neutron, right? And fourth point is, fast neutrons are unstable actually, right? Fast neutrons are unstable and they undergo beta decay with a mean life of about only 10 minutes. After 10 minutes they will vanish, right? So that's why this is the fourth fact. For example, if you consider a nucleus here, this is a nucleus. If you consider a neutron, if you consider this is a fast neutron, it will hit to the nucleus and will rebound. It will not go inside the nucleus and create the reaction. That's why a fast neutron is not advisable. The fast neutron is not advisable because when it hits into the nucleus, it will rebound. That's why we have to choose a slow moving neutron which moves, whose kinetic energy is less than 1 million electron volt. Then it can go inside the nucleus and wandering in the nucleus, and which creates the reaction. That's why we have to use a slow moving neutron, right? With another example, I want to clear this idea about slow moving neutron with one more example. Assume that there are 100 people are here. 100 people are here. Nothing but this is a heavy nucleus. Okay? 100 people are there. This is a heavy nucleus. When a person, I'll assume this person as a neutron. If he is having a kinetic energy of greater than 1 million electron volt, then this is a fast neutron. When it hits with this nucleus with very fast, nothing but assume that you are the person who is going to hit this 100 people. Will you, when you are moving very fast, if you hit this people, is that will you go inside? No, you never go. You just rebounded back, right? If suppose the kinetic energy is less than 1 million electron volt, now it is moving very slowly, correct? And it can go inside and wander through the material and causes reaction to split into small nuclei, right? So this is called the concept of slow moving neutron. It is also called thermal neutron. Okay guys, so I will stop here. In the next video I will explain you the nuclear power reactor. Keep watching.